Demons. They live for thousands of years, eat humans for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and have supernatural powers. But like many of us watching, there is one thing that they cannot stand: sunlight.
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare.
However, there is one demon family that has managed the impossible of surviving the sun: the Kamados. Not only has Nezuko saved Tanjiro's life on multiple occasions, becoming one of the most badass characters in the entire series, her brother achieved the title of Demon King, becoming even stronger than Muzan himself, as his only flaw was the sun. The question is though, how are Tanjiro and Nezuko so special? Besides being, well, you know, the main protagonists. Well, to figure that out, we must first revisit how it all started. It was a cold Sunday morning. Tanjiro said cheerio to his family and set off on an adventure to a nearby town to sell some coal. What could possibly go wrong, he thought to himself, as he stayed in the bed of a complete stranger. What could go wrong? Wait, what's that? Yeah, a lot could. Darkness, my old friend. Oh, I see. But not everything was completely bleak, as Tanjiro was able to identify Muzan's scent, which helped him later on. And with a bit of investigating, we can deduce that it was Muzan himself that slaughtered his family and turned Nezuko into a demon by giving her some of his blood. The reason why he chose Tanjiro's family, however, was due to the Hanafuda earrings and its connection with its original owner, Yorichi, the man Muzan feared the most, who gave him PTSD for like 400 years. Muzan hoped that by converting Nezuko into a demon, their connections to the sun-breathing technique would help him figure out the secret of surviving in daylight, a mission Muzan wished to complete for over 1,000 years. But there were very important factors that Muzan did not consider: compassion and humanity. For example, the very man who tried to save him in the past was instantly killed for not giving him the results Muzan wanted, which caused the chain reaction of him and his family being cursed, as stated by Ubuyashiki. In contrast, when Nezuko first became a demon, she was feral. Her bloodthirsty instincts had taken full control, and there did look to be no saving her. That wasn't until she was hit with the Talk no Jutsu. Her brother Tanjiro tried to appeal to her human instincts in order to remind her of who she really is. In fact, he did this with every demon, as seen later on with Akaza. Now, whilst every start to a new demon's life involves them feeding on their closest loved ones, for example, Saname and Genya's mother, Tamayo, so on and so forth, Nezuko managed to avoid this altogether. But more importantly, this was the first key that foreshadowed why Nezuko was so special. Through Tanjiro's feelings, Nezuko unlocked her secret power to override Muzan's mind control. This is what sets Nezuko apart from your average demon, as rather than going for the kill on Gyu in season 1, the only thought that crossed her mind was to protect her brother. All of this is linked to Ubuyashiki's statement in chapter 137, where Muzan's dream of achieving eternity will never come true. Rather, the humans and demon slayers have already achieved what he failed to obtain, as true eternity is human feelings which are undying, as they are passed on to others living throughout time. As a result of this, Nezuko, remembering the feelings and memories of her family, was able to maintain her humanity by calling on the support of them, both living and dead. Though not in this world, the dead were able to interact and bring Nezuko's human soul back into control. This also happened to Demon King Tanjiro, which allowed him to fight Muzan in his inner mind. This wasn't the first time it happened, as their family literally saved Tanjiro's life twice, the first time against Rui, in which they woke up Nezuko to activate her demon blood art, and the second time to wake her up and run towards Tanjiro to support him in the final battle against Muzan. But now you're probably wondering 3 major questions. Number 1, how are dead people helping our protagonists? Number 2, how did this all unlock the most overpowered blood demon art ever? And number 3, why did Demon King Tanjiro and Nezuko both turn back into humans? To begin with, it's all possible thanks to a special place in Demon Slayer called the Realm of Nothingness. This is where those that have died end up before they move on to either heaven or hell. This allows them to still interact with others on the brink of death, as seen with Saname, for example, at the end of the story. When he was dying, he saw his mother in this realm and declared that he would follow her to hell. However, his father stopped him and pushed him out of the realm, causing Saname to awaken once again in the actual world. A similar thing happens with Nezuko, who, when in times of danger, is helped by the spirits of her family to retain her humanity and escape Muzan's grasp, as he can normally discern a demon's location if he has given them his blood. This is important, especially in Nezuko's case, as Muzan would have been able to use her to locate the Demon Slayer headquarters. However, just like Tamayo, the key to breaking that connection was retaining her human side. The same goes for Tanjiro, who, when in an internal war with Muzan upon becoming the Demon King, was able to overpower his manipulation by remembering the happy memories he had with his family, realizing that as long as he and Nezuko remain together, those memories can never disappear. However, there is more to it than the power of feelings, as the most important part is Nezuko never ate human flesh. Despite this being a key factor in how demons stay strong, Nezuko runs on the power of sleep. In fact, she slept for 2 years whilst Tanjiro was training at Urakadaki's residence. During her snoozing, he used suggestive hypnosis on Nezuko to reinforce her mind to see all humans as members of her family, causing her to feel like she must protect them at all costs and kill demons. Now, this is only possible in a demon like Nezuko who has retained her humanity, because as we see with other demons such as Daki, Gyotaro and Akaza, they have forgotten their human lives completely, meaning they can't picture any family to protect in the first place. Unlike Nezuko, Muzan relished being a demon and murdering those he believed to be below him until he reached the point of no return. He abandoned every trace of humanity and became evil right to the core, referring to himself as a natural disaster. It cannot be a coincidence, as Gotoge refers to the red spider lilies, which are traditionally thought to represent the afterlife in Japan. The Japanese associate it with abandonment and missing memories, as well as death and rebirth. Meanwhile, although it doesn't exist in our world, the blue spider lily we see in Demon Slayer is the antithesis to the meaning of the red spider lily, all of which leads to you losing your memory and going to hell for all eternity. All demons display this theme, including Kokoshibo and Akaza. After continuing to feed on humans and existing as demons for hundreds of years, they claimed to have forgotten their memories. Kokoshibo stated that aside from the face of Yorichi, everything else was a blur to him. In chapter 174, he claims that it was only the shivering sense of impending death that caused his memories from 400 years earlier to return. In Akaza's case, whilst on the brink of death, he is redeemed after regaining consciousness and his memories, something Tanjiro helped him with. This leads us to Demon King Tanjiro and Nezuko's connection to their own memories of the hinokami kagura, as Muzan later on admits it must be why they are able to conquer the sun. Sun-breathing users throughout history had always been blessed with a black blade, hence why the rumor spread that those who wielded one didn't live long, as Muzan would swiftly slay them. However, the benefit of the black blade is that they can absorb the heat far greater than any other color, helping them turn crimson red, fully utilizing the properties of the sun. This is what helps make them put a stop to a demon's regeneration. Just like her brother Tanjiro, who had learned this breathing style unknowingly throughout his childhood, Nezuko was also exposed to their father performing the dance. This played a huge part in bestowing Nezuko her blood demon art, pyrokinesis. After all, a demon's art stems from their life as a human. For example, Hantengu was able to make emotional clones of himself thanks to his split personality disorder. Joko, whose upbringing in a town of fishermen, along with his fairly odd obsession with dismembering and deformed human bodies, led to his horrific disfigurement and fish-related attacks. Thus, it makes sense that Nezuko's connection to sun-breathing reflects in her blood demon art. This plays a key role in keeping her safe from the sun. Since the hinokami kagura is a breathing style that mimics the sun, replicating it with the user's movements, techniques and abilities, her body had already become suited to sustaining the properties of sunlight. Tamayo stated in chapter 127, using blood samples from Kyogai, Daki and Gyotaro, she was able to synthesize an antidote for demonification, which was successfully tested on one of Muzan's Muzan's victims. She later wrote about her progress to Tanjiro in a letter, expressing her amazement about Nezuko's blood sample, which had gone through multiple mutations. This led her to speculate that the reason why Nezuko had not regained her intelligence yet was due to her prioritizing resistance to the sun. Everything comes back to bloodlines. The proof of this is in chapter 199 when Tanjiro himself was turned into a demon, and of course not just any demon, but the Demon King. With an incredible amount of Muzan's blood, Tanjiro gained the progenitor's insane powers, but unlike Muzan, in a matter of minutes, Demon King Tanjiro conquered the sun due to the Kamado blood that he shared with Nezuko, stated by Muzan himself. The Kamado family had been performing the sun-breathing techniques for the last 400 years, and through it they had slowly been resonating with the flames and heat, which changed their biological makeup. This is also how Tanjiro was able to spread the mark to the other demon slayers through resonance. That's why Muzan was so obsessed with consuming Nezuko, so that he'd gain true immortality like Tanjiro did. However, after taking the medicine developed by Tamayo, Nezuko had taken her final step in the long battle to become human again. But Muzan wasn't finished. Recognizing that he couldn't have accomplished anything on his own, he recalls Ubuyashiki and accepts that he was correct, stating that all who live must die and that only feelings and memories are eternal. Muzan claims that he doesn't recall any of the victims he killed, but their emotions were transferred and kept alive, eventually defeating him. Moved to tears by the fact that the passion of all people had overpowered him, Muzan submitted himself to his fate. However, he claims that his own feelings, like everyone else's, are timeless and immortal, and so he offers his hand to Tanjiro. He transfers all of his blood into him, turning Tanjiro into the most powerful demon in history. He was the brother of Nezuko, the first demon to achieve tolerance to sunlight, and the only one who could employ Yorichi's sun-breathing style. Tanjiro was quite literally the best of both worlds. Muzan asked him to carry out his dream and kill the Demon Slayer core in his place, and as the swelling in Tanjiro's head subsided, the surrounding people watch on as he opens his eyes to display a demonic look. Tanjiro deals with all the Hashira instantly, destroying them with Muzan's own blood demon art. It's here that Tanjiro's most important battle begins, all inside his own head, where his subconscious self reaches his palm up to become human again. Muzan's consciousness and undying attempts to break Tanjiro's willpower fail completely, however, as he and Nezuko together is all that is needed to remember the wonderful times with their family. This is something Muzan failed to comprehend, as he misunderstood Ubuyashiki's sentiment of feeling being eternal. To him, Muzan believed he would be able to force his feelings upon Tanjiro, but that slowly crumbled away when these feelings are not resonated, as it's a two-way street. Muzan then turns to lies as he tells Tanjiro Nezuko is dead, but his strong love and feelings see past these lies. And as the story started, the deceased comes to life and gives Tanjiro an extra push in regaining his humanity. In fear, Muzan tells Tanjiro to just be quiet as he will die soon due to the mark. Therefore, he should stop caring about people and become a monster. However, like the protagonist he is, Tanjiro does not wish to live forever and will instead die like a human. Together with his family's hands and the hands of his fallen allies, Tanjiro is raised into a sea of wisteria when Nezuko reaches out to pull her beloved brother back to reality. Muzan desperately tries to pull Tanjiro back, claiming that he's a rare being, the chosen one, the ultimate living creature, but to no avail, as Tanjiro finally regains his sense of self thanks to the antidote injected into him by Kanao. Demon King Tanjiro didn't last too long, but if it did, we would have been presented with the most broken demon of all time. Muzan's 1,000 years of selfish carnage came to an end as he wasn't able to pass down his feelings of wanting to live forever. In fact, Muzan was never going to find the blue spider lily or conquer the sun due to this very nature. His life was a tragic tale of irony, and he caused the chain reaction of his own fate if you break things down holistically. In his attempt to prevent Yorichi's will and breathing technique from living on, he had killed everything related to it, but this is exactly what led Tanjiro on his path to becoming a demon slayer. In turn, Tanjiro was able to pass on Yorichi's will by resonating the mark that allowed the Hashira to become strong enough to defeat Muzan. With this, Ubuyashiki's words came into fruition and Muzan became his own undoing. Now, if you guys want to learn more about how Muzan was defeated, then make sure you watch this video next.